Young men everywhere are in deep trouble nowadays. With no positive role models to follow, more are turning to alpha males on YouTube to find guidance and direction.
Get the up earlier.
The alpha male movement has been around for a long time. All it takes is to Google how to be an alpha male and you'll be swamped with tips and tricks.
I love to talk, I love to joke, I love to laugh, I love to give advice, but be careful when I go silent.
With do's and don'ts from so-called advice gurus. The rise of these self-proclaimed alpha males can be seen as a response to society's changes.
He gets the scrutiny, stay-at-home dads.
That shit's gay.
Many men now view themselves as victims in a shifting cultural landscape. I'm not talking about the art of war, or who gets what, or thinking fast, thinking slow. We're talking about self-proclaimed alpha males. Insecure men who haven't gotten over the fact that their best days are behind them and have no talent. Young men in particular are susceptible to being perceived as weak, not assertive enough, too much of a pushover, and not manly enough. They have been told that showing emotion is detrimental to their value as a man. One of the most famous men in the alpha male universe has to be Dr. Mike Israetel, and I use the term doctor lightly. His expertise is telling young men how he is the strongest, most hardworking, most intelligent man in any given room.
Steroids!
I know he's the strongest, most intelligent, most hardworking person in any room because he told me several times.
I know more about physiology, body responses, etc. than they do in most cases. And
People recognize him from his channel Renaissance Periodization, a slightly suggestive name for a workout channel.
We've got a different term for that in England. It's called a wanker's workout.
His channel received and continues to receive a lot of praise from amateurs to advanced athletes, even though Dr. Mike Israetel can't run around the block without almost suffering a heart attack. He received his PhD from one of those universities where you just pay for it.
I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter than almost every coach, maybe every coach.
Mikey has also been in a pointless back and forth with people for years, most noticeably Greg Duchetti. But surely as the smartest person in any given room, you're wise enough to let this go, right? Not Mike, as evidenced by this clip.
On social media, and I begin to fantasize about what it would be like and how much sublime pleasure I would receive hurting that person at a deep physical and emotional level. Badly. Hurting them in such a way that they're never going to walk right again.
If it takes a bad comment for you to spiral and start imagining how you can cause someone the highest form of physical and emotional pain, it begs the question, how emotionally stable were you to begin with?
Always going to remember me and how they dared to cross me.
How dare they cross me, says Mike. Is there any more reliable indication of a neurosis here? And dare I say it?
They're unspeakable.
It was this repetitive, self-worshipping narrative that compelled people to take a closer look at the doctor's resume. In a nutshell, it took this nerd, Solomon, a whole afternoon to read the PhD to expose Mike as a fraud. Solomon stated that Mike's thesis was so bad
they were older than 40.4 years of age or younger than negative 1.4 years, meaning, once again, that they hadn't yet been born.
That it would have been sent back for major revision at any reputable university.
Thesis falls short of fulfilling one of the most fundamental requirements for doctoral research.
This whole incident raised the question, how easy is it to get a doctorate in the US? Mike's paper was also filled with incorrect grammar, spelling errors such as scientist, and Solomon sending Mike packing with a statement that Mike lacks enough understanding and knowledge for a credible PhD.
Assessment criteria, Mike's thesis would have failed.
So basically anybody who has ever walked, ran, carried something, sprinted, knows the exact same things as Dr. Mike states in his PhD. If you own up to your mistakes, people are far more forgiving than opposed to not saying anything. Mike tried to do some damage control, but he backed out at the last second, saying that Solomon must have reviewed the wrong draft.
My dog stepped on a bee.
But for young gullible men, there's a real danger of listening to someone as doctor. Not only is stupidity contagious, it can also feed to the radicalisation of lonely young men becoming the dreaded subgroup incel. And we all know the moment you identify as an incel, it's game over. And if that example reeked of insecurity, then open up a double glazed window, cause you're not gonna like what's coming. Wes Watson. If there was ever a face on a Don't Do Drugs campaign poster, it would be this guy. Wes sold himself as a man who used to sell drugs, got busted, went to prison for it, and came out a changed man. And I'm not saying this can't be true. Lots of the people who go to prison come out changed. But I think in Wes's case, it's fair to say he's changed for the worse. Proving again that prisons don't rehabilitate people, but making them prone to repeat certain crimes. And while I do believe the anger issues are real,
I've been dieting for like 3 months. The fuck up.
it could be a side effect of performance-enhancing drugs. He is known to take testosterone, in case you couldn't tell. Wes, it's time to lay off the booze and stop spouting gibberish.
It's cause my childhood trauma and then shut the fuck up.
He's starting off the new year with more bullshit than ever.
How many do you do in a row?
I do like 200, 300.
Apart from his radical transformation in losing so much muscle, the biggest transformation has to be everybody believe that he is a changed man.
Get to work.
Another top tier candidate in the realm of fake alpha males has to be King Azoulay. An alpha male who talks about respect in the most disrespectful way, kung fu, and prides himself on his double-digit IQ statements.
I have longer pinky nails than my girl.
Claiming that he is the descendant of King Solomon himself, claims that he has done a DNA test that verifies this. King Azoulay, or Ben as he is more locally known, describes himself as having been gifted powers by God, similar to Solomon being gifted the wisdom and power of God, like biblical laser tag. It's hard to narrow it down to which quotes I should show you here.
Learn how to move with the kung fu, you know?
Because they're all high contenders in the it hurts so much category, but here's just some of my personal favorites.
I worked in counterterrorism for over a decade. It doesn't matter if it's your pinky nail, or it could be a cigarette, it could be a drug, it could be money. Sometimes you have to learn how to just let go.
If that's not enough, he's also a convicted S offender. One of the most reoccurring themes of Ben is his height. Standing at a whopping 5'7", any girl would be lucky to have you, mate.
When you walk into the casino, people start clapping.
Not only this, we wouldn't even notice his height if he wouldn't be banging on about it. Another compulsive liar.
My levels are like 900 to 1,000 without anything.
Ben can't stop banging on about how much money he has, even though none of this is verified.
And then I come to find out that only 3 to 5% of the money in the economy is physical money. The rest of it is digital money.
Here in the UK, we have plenty of our own national treasures within the Manosphere to choose from.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I'm the guy you leave in the desert to die, and 2 days later I pull up at your house in a Lambo. In a mink coat.
Because we're worth it.
But our alpha males are a little bit different over here. Add in some Irishness and that whole crazy island theory, you've got yourself a recipe for disaster. With Britain being in a bit of an identity crisis, our young men here are especially susceptible to fall prey to the scams of fake alpha males.
2. You start spending entire nights grinding.
Britain is like the middle child, begging for some attention and guidance from its parents, only ending up being more neglected and left to fend for itself. With Daddy Trump having said he's getting cigarettes and never coming back, and Mommy Europe leaving us in the trenches, it leaves the young kids of Britain today especially vulnerable to fall prey to alpha males. This brings us to our number one choice for alpha males, standing up for misogyny, violence, and an all-round well-balanced stupidity like nobody else.
We live in a democratic society where it's innocent until proven guilty, and I think my brother and I are largely misunderstood.
Tate has managed to wrap a generation of young men around his incredibly strong pinky, and is doing exactly what he intends to do. Win sympathy for himself as a person and become an inspiration to these kids. With young men afraid of being perceived as weak, no one is giving Manosphere like Tate.
The girls is all good, but how do you get them to do as you say, make you money, obey you, allow you to cheat on them in front of their face and still love you?
Criminal activities are just a hobby to stay loose for Tate, and who's even counting at this point?
Someone has to cook the fries, dumbass.
And what kind of ridiculous accent is that anyway, Andrew? Are you Tottenham, mate?
I'm a cheater and I'm a liar.
What's scary is that good old Andrew here has somehow managed to implant himself into the brains of young men all over the country.
I am too brilliant a man, too perfect in every single metric, too big, too strong, too smart.
And being seen as a relatable big brother, all under the guise of self-improvement.
You walk into a restaurant, you're probably thinking, what am I going to get to eat? What you should be thinking is, how am I going to buy this restaurant in 5 years?
Kid, You're like 9 years old. The only advice you're qualified to give is to which starter Pokemon to pick. Get off the internet and go throw a ball in the park with your dad. Another precious gem in our Manosphere world has to be Tommy Robinson, a renowned Brexit supporter who spends most of his time in Spain because the logic is logicking.
Tommy Robinson, who you say you love, went to America illegally, making him an illegal immigrant.
So what? A far-right activist with multiple convictions, Tommy hides out in Spain to avoid legal troubles in the UK. No one on this list represents racism and intolerance more like Tommy does. He's the reason people are embarrassed to be British.
So let me ask you, where are the men from England?
Robinson has been jailed 5 times for various offences, including using a false passport, mortgage fraud, and contempt of court. I know you're from Luton, Tommy, but there's still a better way to live. With Robinson clearly not of sound mind, he's now asking Donald Trump to invade the UK. Because nothing screams patriotism like annexing another country. So much for the special relationship. There are plenty of alpha males who want you to stop playing video games, work out 20 times a week, bring your body fat percentage down to 6%, because there's nothing healthier than that. Escape the matrix, but the truth of the matter is that nothing that we see online of these people is real. They prey on insecure men,
perfect nails,
and try to sell them courses, nutritional plans, workout regimes, courses on how to get women, how to get respect from other men, all the while being the butt of the joke.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
It seems all alpha males have to have been to prison at least once for the rite of passage into this far superior elite group of men.
I know they're pretty perfect. I gotta let them go. And sometimes it's hard for us to let.
However, there must be a less invasive entry requirement other than picking up soap.